This is the first ever publication. I was so naive back then. And I got
That was nearly a decade ago. Chioma's first magazine, Sway, with then Governor General Michaël Jean on the cover, catered to the city's Black community. Even then, she was tenacious.
First issue, and you land an interview with the Governor General of Canada.
2 weeks before press. Yes.
This was what you didn't know you had her.
I did not know. And everybody kept on saying, we need a game plan. We need to find. I said, no, we're going to get her. This was my very first cover.
Chioma used that same confidence and drive to launch Amoi Magazine back in 2006, with Toronto actress Tanya Lee Williams gracing the cover. 8 years later, it's still going strong.
This is the latest one that comes out on May 12th. And what we did was we really wanted to honor women that had done so much.
Tell me what Amoi means.
Amoi is, I took it out of my name. So my name is Chioma, Chioma, and it means a forgiving God in Nigerian. So I'm from an Igbo tribe, and that's what it means. So I can't have grudges. I have to forgive everybody.
And in Chioma's life, there's been a lot of forgiving, a lot of sacrifice. She was born in Nigeria, but came to Canada as a refugee with her family in 1971, settling in Glace Bay, Nova Scotia.
And my father, who is a Nigerian African man, education, wanted me to go to law school. And I wanted freedom.
You didn't want to be a lawyer?
You know, I felt that I wanted to be in sales, because when I was going to university, I worked part-time in retail, and I loved it. And I just didn't think that I wanted to do law so soon. I wanted to come to Toronto, because everybody talked about Toronto. And so when I came, he wasn't happy.
She pursued her goal of working in retail and landed a job at an exclusive shop in Yorkville. But things turned sour when she asked her boss to give her more opportunities to advance. She decided to leave.
So you're here completely on your own, without help from your father anymore.
Yeah.
What did you do?
And I remember walking in on Yorkville, where am I going to go? And I ended up going to Queen's Park. And that was a really difficult time for me, because to come from that kind of environment and to end up alone, it's very scary. And to sleep in a park bench on your first day, and I don't even think I slept that night, because I was afraid. And so I would go to the reference library. I love the reference library, and I'd go to the 4th floor. And I would stay there, and I would think, oh my God, how am I going to do this? If I panhandle, I can get a little bit of money to buy premium crackers. Because premium crackers, there's 4 in a box, because it would sustain me.
Chioma was forced to panhandle. Then one day, a complete stranger approached her.
He said, you know what, I'm going to give you $10, but what are you going to do with that $10? And I said, well, if you give me $20, I know what I'll do with $20, $10. And she gave me $10, and I thought, wow, because normally you get like $1, $2. And so she said, you know, you can do better than this. She goes, I've seen you. I went, you don't even know my life, and here you're trying to judge me.
Turns out that $10 would change Chioma's life. She ended up getting a real estate license and worked her way up to selling exclusive properties. But after a few years, she felt the need to move on and to give back. She devoted her time to speaking to students as a way to heal a very deep hurt over being sexually abused as a child.
So isn't it interesting how life is? It took a circle of coming to talk to the youth about your life and having to share the most intimate and shameful, stigmatized part of your life. But that was my freedom.
A newfound freedom that sparked an entirely new career in magazine publishing, aimed at telling the stories of Canadians.
We have a multicultural fabric in the community that we cannot separate. It is who we are. And everybody wants to see themselves represented positively.
Then she began to learn about the accomplishments of women in the community who have their own success stories to tell.
And so when I started to understand the history of women, it was like, oh my goodness. I have to make this a mandate of mine to do more on women, to do more on women that have walked those journeys. And so over the last 3 years, the magazine has really focused on showcasing the diversity of women in leadership positions. And that has just, that has taken its own life.
It's taken on so much life that Chioma has organized a gender diversity conference. Women from all walks of life who've reached pinnacles in their professions. But Chioma also wanted to recognize the contribution the male corporate leaders have made, including Gordon Nixon, the CEO of Royal Bank.
We have to honor men that support the advancement of women. So it's not so much an award, it's we're honoring. We're saying thank you for including us in the boardrooms.
For Chioma, overcoming and accomplishing so much in her life is a way to honor her mother, who lived away from her in a mental institution.
And I remember going into the bathroom and breaking down. And I said, I am always going to make her proud. No matter what happens,